From Cornwall to Birmingham and Johnston and Bexhill, here's Ruben Spire on the radio.
Hello to Randie O'Neil. How are you today?
Fantastic, Ruben. So glad to be here. So glad to be hanging out with you. For me, it's morning. So
thank you. Let me chat to you today. So can you tell me, how long have you been a singer-songwriter for?
I've been a singer-songwriter for a long time. I started as a singer. Then eventually in college, I started writing my own stuff as a way of kind of therapy and working through some issues. And got away from it for a little bit. And then about 10, 11 years ago, I decided to do a solo project. And I had to learn how to play guitar and started writing a whole lot of new material. So
did you go to the recording studio to record your debut single?
I did. I had a really great team that I put together. I met at a conference. A producer, Marty Rifkin, and Jan Linder-Coda, Matt Moss did a lot of my tracks. And I had a lot of great coaching for my first time back in the studio. And I learned so much. They were a wonderful team. And it was just a great place to start.
So what was it like going to the recording studio, recording your debut single?
It was really a great songwriting process in that I learned to grasp the edit with songs. You write a song and you're bleeding all over the place and you're like, I can't change a line. And they were so good about, we're going to make this stronger. You know, you hear a line doesn't mean the audience is going to hear a line. And they really, really opened up my eyes to the possibility of what songs could be and how they can come alive. So it was a wonderful process. I was a little adult contemporary at the time in this Woman I Am, Going Back, were some of the songs on there. So like I said, it was a good place to start, but I didn't quite have my sound yet, you know, as an artist.
So can you tell me more about your debut single called Call My Name?
Call My Name. It's really about being alone in a crowd. You know, and sometimes I know for me, I feel so isolated sometimes, you know, especially a lot of the streaming stuff. But at that time, you don't know if anyone's paying attention and you just want someone to call you and come up to you and recognize that you exist.
So what was it like putting your debut EP together called Woman I Am?
Woman I Am. Like I said, it was really just a genuine process. It's the first time I had coaches with songs. And we went line by line. We had a lot of pre-sessions before I flew all the way out to LA to do the actual session. So it was a lot of zooming back and forth and working on songs. A lot of growth, I think, during that experience. It was just a great team to start with. It was a great learning experience. And again, I didn't quite know what direction I wanted. Adult contemporary sounded like where I wanted to be. I eventually kind of evolved from that sound.
So can you know more about the single that was called Holiday to Remember?
Holiday to Remember. You know, growing up, I had a very abusive stepfather, and our holidays were tense. You know, but my sisters, we would all come together and like support each other. But as you grow up, people move away, have their own families. And this one holiday, my family just didn't come together. And I was very sad about it. And I realized that holidays aren't a great time for a lot of people. It can be really hard. It was hard for me. And I sat in a diner. It was Thanksgiving here in America. And I sat in a diner and I wrote this song, like, you know, hey, we promised to come together and we're not, you know, and it made me sad. So I just kind of wrote a song like, hey, let's do better.
So it must have been a difficult time during COVID being a singer-songwriter.
You know, I do some counseling on the side, and I'm an anxiety specialist. And I thought, Randie, it's COVID. You got to walk the walk. You got to, anxiety is a creativity killer for a lot of reasons, a lot of brain reasons. So I kind of doubled down and I said, my label had dropped me, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to make this work. I'm going to practice, my mindfulness. I'm going to bring things in. I'm not going to let anxiety rule me right now. And I'm going to learn how to use technology. Everyone is online. I need to be there, and I need to learn how to do it. And I worked with a group called Modern Musicians that do a lot of digital marketing, and learned a lot. I really doubled down during COVID. I released my album despite, being dropped, which did really well. Here I Stand. And I wrote Full Moon Rising, which has probably been my biggest release to date.
We'll chat about that very soon. So can you tell me more about the single that you released called It Should Have Been You?
It should have been you. Okay. Dating hasn't always gone the way I wanted it to go, right? So you get to start to thinking like over the past people that you dated. And I started thinking about high school and the one that got away. And like, because of my home life, I was really insecure. I just wanted to be saved. And there was this really nice kid that if I had my head on straight, like it should have been you. Like I should have gone out with this nice kid, Instead, I just, went out with older guys, and it was a mess. So, and that song was from him, and we've been in touch, and I sent it to him, and he didn't know what to do. It was like crickets for a while, and he finally was like, wow. Like he had no idea, like it was just kind of out of left field. So, but we talked about it and kind of laughed about it. You take an idea and you make it bigger and you run with it. And that's what happened with It Should Have Been You.
So I guess that's where you get your inspiration from different aspects.
You do. Like things happen, and even whether it happens the way you want it to or not, you take a piece of that and you kind of run with it for a song. And sometimes you tell the full story. Sometimes you throw other things in with the stories. But I think during COVID, and even prior to that, I started to learn how to write from prompts. Sinners and Saints from from my album, if I not Woman I Am, the one after that. It was a prompt in a songwriting group I was in, and I didn't want to write the song Sinners and Saints. I thought it was going to be cliche, but it was empowering to know that I could take a little idea out of nowhere and build on it. And that's really empowering as a songwriter. I didn't have to wait to get dumped or, something to happen. I could just kind of make it up in my head and make it fun and make a good song out of it.
So can you tell me more about the single that released called Queen of the Barstool Two-Step?
That was one of the COVID songs that I'm like, people get dumped, like they're alone for COVID. And when you're not with somebody, you get all dressed up and you go on the town and you pretend you're okay. And that's what Queen of the Barstool was about. I'm like, hey, you can't even do that now. You can't go on town and be the queen for the night. So instead, I wrote a song about it, Queen of the Barstool Two-Step. And that song is my biggest release to date. Even on YouTube, with over 650,000 views on YouTube. I won, I think, 5 awards for that song. From different organizations, ISA, International Singer-Songwriters, World Songwriting Association, Merit, and I'm missing one. So Video of the Year. So it's got a lot of recognition internationally, which I'm really, really thrilled about.
Oh, congratulations to winning them awards. So can you tell me more about your EP that released called Full Moon Rising?
Full Moon Rising, again, a lot of those songs are COVID songs. And I was able to put a lot of time into them. And nobody was recording. No one was going into the studio. So I had a lot of time with my producer. Going back, he's like, "You're writing," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going down. I'm doubling down. Like, we're doing this." And it was really interesting because I love to do video, and I released a video with the song, but I couldn't get anywhere to do video. Like Queen of the Barstool, I needed a bar, and nobody would let me in. So I'm begging. I got turned down by Molly Thatcher, like Molly McGee. All the pubs were like, "No, it's COVID." So finally, I got one little dive bar called the Side Door. They're like, "Yeah, come in, I'll open for you." And there we were, but there was no one around. But we just kind of fit the song, Queen of the Barstool. You're kind of
On your own.
bar, yeah. So it's actually worked out well, although it did get banned on Twitter because there's a shot where I have shots lined up, line them up, I'll shoot them down. And I'm pretending it's iced tea, number one, and I'm putting it into a picture, but Twitter didn't know that, and they banned me from Twitter. So
These things happen. So, can you tell me more about the single that was called "The Dance"?
The Dance, another bar song, and then that, again from Heart and Soul, my last EP. That's the biggest release. So if you have a country song, put it in a bar, and it really does well. But again, it's that idea you're going out to meet somebody and you want to meet somebody and you meet somebody and you're like, come on, like this person, please. And there's nothing there. It's like, tell me, when will my heart start? Like, come on. It's just that your heart's not cooperating with things. And it's the dance of romance. Like you want to be in a relationship and you just like are dancing around it.
So, going to move away from the music just talking about promotion. So, can you tell me more about KGYJ media and promotions?
Oh, is that Caden Gordon?
Yes, Kane Gordon. Yes.
Hey, Gordon. I'm gonna tell you, he's a hustler. That one. He's working hard. I mean, I realized eventually that he's actually in school and doing all this promotion there, such dedication to music and supporting artists, and I met him kind of by accident. Like I heard his name through my show, The Ranch. He was sending me some artists to interview. And eventually I did a fundraiser for Autism Tennessee. And I'm like, yeah, I'm driving to Tennessee 11 hours, doing a show and driving 11 hours back. And I got to meet him, and it was really interesting character. I like him a lot, and he's again such a supporter of the arts.
So, going to move on to this year now. So, can you tell me more about a single that was called "Crash and Burn"?
Crash and Burn. Oh man, yeah. I was dating, and you meet somebody, and they're not right. This is trouble. They're risky to go out with, but you do it anyway. And it was just kind of a cautionary tale that sometimes you got to get out of a relationship before you really get hurt, before you crash and burn. And that's what this is. You're going out with someone and all the warning signs are going off, and sometimes you got to listen to them.
So, can you tell me more about the EP that was called "Heart and Soul"?
Heart and Soul. So that was, post-COVID, and everyone's kind of picking up the pieces, trying to go on with their lives, and it isn't always that easy. And as a counselor, talking to other people, like some families really pulled together and some really imploded. And that's the song Olivia is about kind of domestic violence that we don't want to talk about. The doors are shut and everyone kind of keeps these things to themselves. And it's a problem. It's something that we do need to talk about. So Olivia was kind of, my trying to bring awareness to domestic violence, Crash and Burn. So a lot of those songs are about relationships and getting started, but showing caution when you do.
So as we're in the Christmas period now, very soon. So can you tell me more about your latest single called "What Do You Say, Santa"?
What do you say, Santa? You have to put together a Christmas song fairly early to get it released by the holidays. So it was summertime. There's a heat wave. It's like 95 degrees. That's Fahrenheit here. And you have to write a Santa song. And it's like being in the Bahamas for Christmas. Like you have to come up with something. And the thing I was thinking about is those elves on the shelf. It's the first thing that came into my mind. And I'm like, I think they're creepy. Somebody's watching me 24/7. Are you kidding me? No adult can live up to that. They like to think they can because it's a kid thing. But what if they were watching the adults? We're going to parties, we're flirting, we're having fun. And is that putting us on the naughty list? And that was kind of what I ran with for the song. It just made it kind of this fun, lively. Yeah, so having fun is nice, is fun. But what do you say, Santa? You're coming my way.
So, are you going to work on any new music in the next year?
I really want to do a lot of collaborating next year. There's some artists I've had my eye on. I think I'm going to reach out to. I did write a song for the Rhode Island Songwriting Association. They do this really great thing. Songwriters in the round. So they have 4 songwriters for once a month, but they give them a song prompt. So everyone has to write a song. My prompt was if walls could hear. And I'm like, so I wrote a really great song for that. So I want to keep going. I might take that into the studio. So I have some things on the burners. Always have some coals burning.
So, can you tell me, what's it like being an independent artist that you are now for you?
I gotta tell you, you gotta be a jack of all trades. And it takes some perseverance, some organization, because you have to be your own label. So you got to do social media. You got to promote, you got to write, and there's so many platforms. And then you're playing live. So so you're doing all the booking and things like that. I do have a good promotion team that I work with, and some booking people. But it's hard. It's hard. You're really trying. I don't compete with other indie artists, but I try to be competitive with them. I want my material to be strong and have a strong showing. But it's interesting. It's interesting. You really got to be organized.
So, finally, can you tell me, listeners, where can I find you on your social media?
Everywhere. If you spell my name correctly, which is RandieOneil, you'll find me everywhere. I have a great website, which has a lot of information. And if you really want to help an indie artist, go to their website and download material from their website, from their merch page, because that's how the artist keeps some of the profits. Otherwise, everyone's got their pockets in it. And all those likes on Facebook and social media, they mean a lot in this business. So that's a way to support indie artists as well.
Thank you for letting me chat to you today.
I'm sorry?
Thank you for letting me chat to you today.
Oh, thank you so much. My pleasure. Great way to start my day.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
All right. Ruben, you too. Have a great one. Happy holidays, everyone.
Goodbye. Goodbye.